Lucy was really disappointed when she got a negative result on her pregnancy test. Adrian tried to cheer her up and suggested that they consult a fertility specialist recommended by his former senior at medical school. Although she was initially hesitant, Lucy finally agreed after Adrian convinced her. The next day, Adrian and Lucy visited the fertility clinic and met with Nurse Dawn. Lucy underwent a series of tests and had a consultation with Dr. John Hindi, Adrian's former senior. The test results showed that Lucy had low levels of HCG. Dr. John prescribed some pills to stabilize her hormone levels. He reassured Adrian and Lucy that many of his patients had successfully gotten pregnant after undergoing treatment at his clinic. However, for better chances, Dr. John suggested a procedure called seed implantation to enhance Lucy's pregnancy prospects. After their visit to the clinic, Lucy returned to her routine and was promoted to team leader at her workplace. Lucy and Adrian then went back to the clinic for the seed implantation procedure. During that time, Nurse Dawn playfully teased Adrian to help her extract the seed using his hand, but Adrian declined. After the seed implantation process was completed, Lucy started feeling nauseous a few days later. She immediately contacted Adrian to go to Dr. John's clinic. Lucy's hopes were fulfilled when Dr. John confirmed that she was indeed pregnant. Happiness radiated from their faces, and Lucy quickly shared the good news with her superiors and colleagues who also shared in their joy. That night, Adrian and Lucy discussed names for their future baby. If it's a girl, Lucy wants to name her Wendy. If it's a boy, Adrian wants to name him Adrian Jr. They imagined a future filled with hope and love for their child. However, a big surprise awaited them when the ultrasound revealed that Lucy was carrying triplets, 2 healthy boys and 1 premature girl. Dr. John advised them to consider keeping the healthy twins, but Lucy was hesitant. At that moment, Dr. John explained the risks and complications including premature birth, and suggested that Adrian and Lucy carefully consider their situation and make the best decision for their family. Adrian and Lucy are discussing about this tough decision. Adrian wants to keep both twins, but Lucy is worried about the challenges of taking care of 2 children at once, especially with her new promotion at work. Lucy prefers to keep the baby girl Wendy because she doesn't want to get into more arguments. Adrian agrees to keep Wendy. The day of the egg retrieval finally arrived. Lucy sat in the waiting room, reading a magazine with Dr. John on the cover. But an article about a traditional midwife named Grace caught her attention. Just then, Adrian and Dr. John came and asked Lucy to go to the operating room. During the procedure, Lucy passed out, but she could still hear a conversation between Adrian and Dr. John. In her dream, Lucy saw a little girl whose face turned black. After returning home, Lucy stared at her growing belly in the mirror. However, she panicked when red fluid started to soak her feet. That night, Lucy and Adrian rushed to Dr. John's clinic, who reassured them that her pregnancy was fine. The red fluid was a result of ovarian hyperstimulation, which is common in pregnant women as the uterus stretches to make room for the baby. Dr. John advised Lucy to avoid the internet so that she wouldn't become paranoid about her pregnancy. Despite Dr. John's warning, Lucy couldn't resist accessing the internet. She watched a video about traditional midwife Grace and heard strange noises in her house. As Lucy investigated the source of the sound, she discovered it was coming from a drawer containing Adrian's personal safe. At that moment, Lucy saw drops of blood flowing from Adrian's safe. However, she was startled when Adrian suddenly appeared and hugged her to calm her down. The scene shifts to Lucy meeting with Corgan from the Pregnant Mothers group. Lucy shares the strange experiences she has been having during her pregnancy, but Corgan dismisses them as common pregnancy brain, or momnesia. However, Lucy is convinced that something unusual is happening with the baby she is carrying, Wendy. Corgan suggests that Lucy should inform Adrian, but Lucy refuses, suspecting that Adrian and Dr. John are hiding something from her. While watching a video about traditional midwife Grace, Lucy feels a deep connection with her. Suddenly she lets out a loud scream as if she were in the midst of giving birth, and the scream echoes throughout the house. Adrian, hearing the scream, quickly rushes to Lucy's side. At work, Lucy is taken aback when Dawn shows up to retrieve the magazine she borrowed from the clinic. Lucy never expected Dawn to follow her all the way to the office just to get the magazine. However, on the same day, Lucy receives bad news when her boss informs her that she's being removed from the project she was working on due to her pregnancy. This disappoints Lucy's boss, as their company is competing against others to win the project. Disappointed and confused, Lucy brings lunch for Adrian, who notices that something is amiss with his wife since she did the same thing a few hours ago. Adrian then takes Lucy back to Dr. John's clinic, where she is diagnosed with momnesia, a common occurrence during the first pregnancy. Dr. John prescribes some pills for Lucy. The scene shifts as Lucy visits Grace seeking advice, but her condition continues to worsen. She begins having nightmares about Adrian and Dr. John having an affair. Upon waking up from her nightmare, Lucy hears strange sounds coming from Adrian's safe. She tries to open it using the room number that Adrian and Dr. John used in her dream, and oddly enough, it works. Inside the safe, Lucy discovers files from Dr. John's clinic that reveal her depression and paranoia were part of a research conducted by Dr. John with her husband's knowledge. There are also photos showing Lucy visiting midwife Grace. The next day, Lucy shares her experience with her friend. Corgan is shocked and suggests that Lucy should give the files to her husband, who happens to be a lawyer. Corgan hopes that her husband can provide legal perspective and help Lucy navigate through this issue. Corgan also advises Lucy to maintain a normal demeanor until the true problem is revealed. While Lucy is taking a bath, she experiences another hallucination, this time having a disturbing nightmare of herself drowning in a tub filled with blood. Luckily, Adrian comes to her rescue. When Adrian offers Lucy the medication she usually takes to stop the hallucinations, she vomits it out because she has started to lose trust in her husband and Dr. John. The next morning, Lucy informs Adrian that she will not be returning to Dr. John's clinic, as she believes that he has been having a negative impact on their baby. However, Adrian becomes angry as he believes that it was Dr. John who made it possible for Lucy to become pregnant. Despite this, Lucy stands firm in her decision, and once again, Adrian relents. During the baby shower at her home, Lucy receives a fairy tale book from Corgan, but she is startled when she notices that the book's cover appears to be smeared with blood. Her surprise intensifies when Corgan mentions the name Lucia, which should only be known by a select few. Finally, Corgan revealed that she obtained that information from Dr. John, and Lucy's files were never given to her husband, but to Adrian and Dr. John instead. Corgan was worried because Lucy seemed unlike herself, and Adrian also denied having any files in his safe. During the argument, Lucy experienced contractions. Lucy gave birth to twin boys with the assistance of midwife Grace. However, she experienced severe bleeding during the delivery of the second child. Grace referred her to the emergency department, where Dr. John managed her delivery. Lucy also gave birth to a premature baby girl who was still attached to the placenta. Unfortunately, the baby girl could not be saved. At that moment, Lucy felt as if she was dreaming, because she had previously requested Dr. John to save the twin fetus and the baby girl. However, Adrian reassured Lucy that choosing the twins was the right decision, but Lucy still felt sad because she missed her baby girl. A few days later, Lucy attempted to visit Dr. John's clinic, but she was stopped by Dawn. Frustrated and angry, Lucy started planning ways to create chaos. However, Dawn took her to a room and handed her a file where Adrian had agreed to a pregnancy project. While Dawn was away, Lucy entered a room where her baby girl was wrapped in a bundle. Suddenly, Dr. John appeared and revealed that he had injected all his patients with his own sperm. Dr. John believed that his sperm was special and all women should have sons carrying his genetics. Apparently, Dr. John's obsession to create male babies carrying his genetics had spread worldwide. At that time, Dr. John tried to inject Lucy with anesthesia, but Lucy kicked Dr. John in the groin and hit him on the head with a mirror. When Dawn arrived due to the commotion, She immediately attacked Lucy, but Lucy managed to defeat her. Lucy then repeatedly hit the defenseless Dr. John and tied him to the patient chair. Before leaving, Lucy destroyed the seed storage cabinet and took her baby girl. While Lucy was at home staring at the unwanted twins, Adrian arrived, and Lucy instructed him to take the twin babies away and leave their apartment. Now Lucy sits in silence, cradling her deceased baby girl. In desperation, Lucy attempts to breastfeed her baby, hoping for a miracle to happen. And that miracle happens when the baby's mouth starts moving, bringing a smile to Lucy's face as the movie ends.